People beat traffic lights. People go to work, they sign in for 8 a.m., 9 a.m. when they came in at 12. And the person at the desk who is overlooks it, and there are no checks for these things, and you feel it's okay. Sometimes we're blind to the things that we do until it comes to you and you desperately need that visa to be approved. You desperately need that international passport in 2 weeks, and then you are doing all of the things that you had spoken against.
Hello, viewers, and welcome to Transparency Files, a weekly production of the Public Enlightenment and Education Department of ICPC. I am your host, Murna Barnabas Atiaye. Today, we'll be talking about a topic that affects us all, corruption. When we hear corruption, we often think corruption goes beyond that. Together, we will explore how corruption affects ordinary Nigerians, why it persists, and what can be done to stop it. We shall also x-ray a section of the ICPC Act and bring you stories from our state offices. But first, let us join Joy Aja as she brings us anti-corruption stories. It's over to you, Joy.
Hello viewers, thank you for joining us. My name is Joy Aja with Anti-Corruption Stories. ICPC has achieved a major milestone in its asset disposal operations, realizing a total of over 1 billion naira from the auction of 23 forfeited assets in 2024. This is the highest amount recorded since the Commission's establishment. This achievement was announced during the 2025 meeting of the Asset Disposal Committee, following a report presented by the Proceeds of Crime Department. The exercise was carried out in line with the Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Act 2022, which empowers the Commission to recover, manage, and dispose of assets derived from illicit activities. According to the report, out of the 23 assets disposed of in 2024, 10 were successfully auctioned in December 2024, while 7 could not be sold due to low bids that fell below the approved threshold of for sale value. The remaining 6 assets were affected by legal, security, or encroachment challenges. 4 unsold assets have been rolled over into the 2025 disposal program. For the 2025 exercise, the committee has presented 30 movable and immovable assets for disposal. These include 4 rolled over assets from 2024, 12 immovable assets, 3 movable assets, and 11 batches of perishable assets newly enrolled for auction. Presiding over the meeting, the ICPC chairman, Dr. Musa Damu Aliyu, SAN, commended the Proceeds of Crime Department for its effective implementation of the Commission's mandate and emphasized that depriving the corrupt of their illicit gains remains one of the most potent strategies in combating corruption. In line with ICPC's commitment to transparency and due process, the 2025 Asset Disposal Committee meeting was observed by independent representatives from the Bureau of Public Procurement, Nigeria Labour Congress, Nigeria Union of Journalists, Accountability Lab, and the Center for Fiscal Transparency and Public Integrity. In another development, ICPC has secured the conviction of Mr. Abubakar Bawa Makuku, sole administrator and caretaker chairman of Sakaba local government area in Kebbi State, and Mr. Ahmed Abdullahi Fakai, director of finance and supply of the same local government for contract fraud and abuse of office involving the sum of 54 million naira. The duo was arraigned before Honorable Justice E. Gako of the Federal High Court sitting in Birnin Kebbi on multiple counts bordering on abuse of office, fraudulent contract awards, and financial misconduct. During the trial, Prosecution Counsel Mr. Hamza Sani presented evidence showing that Mr. Fakai unlawfully withdrew a total of 54 million naira from the coffers of Sakaba local government in 6 tranches of 9 million naira each, in a deliberate attempt to evade financial reporting protocols. The court also heard how Mr. Makuku corruptly awarded contracts without following due process and personally benefited from the diversion of 10 million naira earmarked for official engagements of the local government. Their actions contravened Section 19 of the Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022 and Section 19 of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Act 2000. The defendant had pleaded not guilty to all the charges preferred against them. However, in his judgment, Justice Gako found them guilty as charged and convicted them accordingly. Mr. Fakai was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment or a fine of 2.5 million naira, while Mr. Makuku received a 4-year jail term or a fine of 1 million naira as compensation to Sakaba local government, in addition to another 1.5 million naira fine. The judgment underscores ICPC's resolve to ensure that public officers who betray the trust of their offices for personal gain are brought to justice in accordance with the law. That'll be all on this segment. Transparency Files continues with Muruna. Please stay with us.
Corruption not in my country.
Okay, I'll have that credited to account shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Meanwhile, can you smoothen this edge? Something is not properly done.
Okay, no problem. We'll go do it. Okay, sir. Okay.
Money don't come now. Make we go buy cement.
No, continue.
No, I don't understand. We need more cement now.
Carry sand, put plenty sand, mix and put the cement. I don't finish.
Make Barara. Let's do this thing right.
Wait, did they give? What is Megba? See, listen. The money credited to my account is not for cement, oh. It's my own. Even you have a share in it.
Me, I don't take such share.
Okay.
I know they take.
Okay,
Oga?
don't take.
All this building collapse where they happen here and there. Now this kind of attitude, now they cause am. When I am called to do mago, I say no to it. It is corruption. Not in my country.
Stop corruption now. Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. You're watching Transparency Files. When we hear the word corruption, our minds often go straight to government officials, embezzled funds, or political scandals. But corruption is not only what happens in the corridors of power. It is what happens around us every single day. From the teacher who demands money before releasing a student's results to the healthcare worker who refuses to attend to a patient until she gets a token, including the police officer who asks for something for the weekend before letting a driver go, and the civil servant who delays a file until he is being appreciated. We see corruption in our everyday lives. Corruption has become so common in our daily lives that many people now see it as normal. But this mindset is dangerous because every small act of dishonesty contributes to a larger national problem. These little acts of paying bribes, cutting corners, using connections, or demanding something for the boys slowly eat away at our values, destroy trust, and block opportunities for honest citizens. They affect the quality of education, healthcare, infrastructure, and even the way we see ourselves as a people. The question begging for answers include: why has corruption become a way of life in Nigeria? How does it affect ordinary citizens like you and me? And most importantly, what can be done to stop it? To help us unpack the reality of corruption in our everyday lives and explore how integrity can still thrive, one honest act at a time, we have Zugwe Tagwe, a development expert, with us to shed more light on that. Stay with us.
Today we are discussing corruption in our everyday lives. Mm-hmm. By way of introduction, can you give us a brief background to corruption in our everyday lives?
So for me, I would say that corruption in our everyday lives begin from our homes. It begins from those values that we're being brought up with. It begins with what we see around us, how we see people behave or act. And it could be from things as little as incentives to children to make them do what they're supposed to do, naturally. It could also be trying to make it easy for your child to get into a certain position that has been challenging over a particular time. We have things like corruption or corrupt practices and greasing palms of people when you're trying to get a job. We have people who are bringing in friends, family members who are not qualified for certain roles or positions, or who do not even go through the right channels or process of application. And for me, it goes beyond even money exchange or trade of finances. It's a lot of incentives given. It's a lot of, oh, what do I give? What do I do for you? Even if it's in kind, not just cash, for you to be able to make this process easier, but at the same time to the detriment of somebody else or the natural process.
Why and how did we get to this point?
Over time, first of all, there's the thing of entitlement. I think a lot of times it's the value system. We have an eroded value system. We do not have proper checks in place in terms of systems. So when I say systems now, institutions, where people get away with just anything. There are no consequences for actions. Even in places where there are consequences, they are not implemented. So people say, what's the worst that can happen? People beat traffic lights. People go to work, they sign in for 8 a.m., 9 a.m. when they came in at 12. And the person at the desk who is overlooks it. And there are no checks for these things. And you feel it's okay. We go to marketplaces and people are willing, or you want to buy certain things. With one person you hear it might be costing 2.5. Someone else is selling that for 10,000 just because they tell you it's a plaza. Or I think we've gotten to that point where we've even lost our humanity. So there's the point of also losing our humanity as a people.
Talk about the effect. How does this affect the ordinary citizens like you and me?
In a lot of ways. So for corrupt practices, we have, let me come to systems so that we're not just speaking to particular situations, but then we have systems like the educational system, we have health system, we have situations where you have someone who is responsible for the building of healthcare, quality healthcare, providing quality service, and that money is being siphoned. And we do not have the equipments that are supposed to be in that healthcare. We do not even have the healthcare in existence. Power supply, our businesses are failing. You do not have proper storage systems, and people have not focused on delivering on their jobs, whether it's in ensuring that they actually show up to secure the lives of people, they actually train properly, or they do not siphon the funds that are used to equip the military on ground. People are exposed. People can't go to farms today. We have hunger. We have hike of prices of food. We have malnourishment. We think it's just insecurity, but it builds up in other areas.
What can we do to reduce corruption in our everyday lives?
First and foremost, I would say stop pointing fingers. It's not a them or their, no. A lot of times we like to exempt ourselves. I would say, oh, they are doing this. But the question is, how have I also promoted corruption? How have I also indulged in corruption? Sometimes we're blind to the things that we do until it comes to you and you desperately need that visa to be approved. You desperately need that international passport in 2 weeks. And then you are doing all of the things that you had spoken against. You desperately need a hospital to attend to your family member. We need to realize that we all are susceptible to corruption. Define your value system, define your principles, and be willing to stand on these principles and by these principles, come rain, come shine. Checks need to be put in place. Consequences need to be implemented and adhered to. There's nothing like favoritism if we want our society to actually work for us.
So we have heard corruption in our everyday lives is a problem of you and I. We need to check ourselves, check our value system. Don't wait until something goes wrong and then you begin to say, Nigeria has happened to me. or it goes wrong for your family member, I say Nigeria has happened to my family member. No, take a bold step against corruption today.
What is the position of the ICPC Act on bribery? Barrister Enosa Emogibo is here to tell us. Watch this.
The Section 8 of our Act is actually the beginning of the offenses section of the Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses Act 2000. And for good reason, the offense of gratification or bribery, as it's commonly called, is the beginning of the offenses section, and that's provided for in Section 8 of the Act. And that's because the Act is a specialized law dealing with official corruption and related matters. The section is quite broad, but the main provision of the section is the offense or created the offense of receiving or obtaining any property either for himself or for someone else or on behalf of someone else by a public officer. Now, what this means is that if, as a public officer, I work in a government department where maybe employment is to be given or admission is to be given or license is to be obtained, and I either collect money from someone to do that or to refrain from doing something, then if it is established that I've collected that money either by myself or through someone else, then I could be charged under this section. So people who promise employment to others, vulnerable members of the public, may be tried under this section. Now, when people are arrested, or being investigated under this section, some of them may want to be smart. They tell you, yes, I received money, but this money was a loan given to me by this person, or it was for something else. Now, subsection 2 provides, a guide on that. Subsection 2 says that if such a person or such a promise is made and the person, is investigated, then it is not a defense that, okay, I took this money on behalf of this person because of something else. Except that person or that something else is established by credible evidence, it is presumed that that money was collected fraudulently or corruptly, and the person will be tried. And it is also possible for some persons to say, well, I collected this money, but I did not eventually do what I promised to do. That, again, is taken care of under subsection 3. It says that it is not a defense when somebody says, okay, I collected this money to do this, but I eventually didn't do it. So all this put together make up Section 8, that offense of bribery and the punishment of 7 years imprisonment.
ICPC is working not just at the headquarters, so we have update on happenings in our state offices.
A report from Katsina State reveals that ICPC, in collaboration with the NYSC Community Development Service Group, Batagarawa Chapter, held a one-day sensitization program at Government Science Secondary School, Batagarawa. The events themed the effects of corruption with special emphasis on examination malpractices, aimed to educate students on the dangers of corruption and exam malpractice while promoting collective responsibility in combating corruption. Representing the Resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner, Mr. Samuel Ludam, Sani Taraoni Tukur emphasized the vital role of students in the fight against corruption. Coming from Calabar, the Resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner of Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Baba Alaro Shuaib, led a delegation to pay a courtesy visit to the chairman of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, Cross River State, Honorable Yibala Inyang. Mr. Shuaib emphasized the need to strengthen transparency and integrity at the local government level through ICPC's preventive mandate. The Algon chairman appreciated the visit and highlighted the importance of sensitizing local government area staff and elected officials on the dangers of corruption. Similarly, the ICPC Rivers State Office, led by the Resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner, Mrs. Ekere Usiere, paid a courtesy visit to the National Orientation Agency, NOA, in Port Harcourt. Received by the State Director, Dr. Edwin Banigo, and his management team, the visit aimed to strengthen collaboration in the fight against corruption. Mrs. Usiere emphasized the need for renewed synergy between both agencies, while Dr. Banigo reaffirmed NOA's commitment to sustaining and deepening the partnership for national development. And from Sokoto, the Nigerian Society of Engineers, led by its Sokoto branch chairman, Engineer Abubakar Yaya, paid a courtesy visit to the ICPC Sokoto State Office. Engineer Yaya reaffirmed the NSC's commitment to ethical standards and collaboration with ICPC, noting the importance of the partnership. Receiving the delegation, the Resident Anti-Corruption Commissioner, Mr. Shintema Binga, emphasized ICPC's readiness to deepen cooperation with the NSC to enhance transparency, accountability, and service delivery.
I am a Nigerian, a highly cultured race. My culture abhors corruption, and with my integrity, a new Nigeria is possible. I say no to corruption today to build a future for my children. Join me and imbibe the culture of integrity to build a Nigeria of our dreams.
This is a Cinema Weeks production.
From our discussions today, it is clear that corruption is not just a problem of politicians, but a problem of values, attitudes, and daily choices. Every time we offer or accept a bribe, cheat the system, or look at the other way, we keep corruption alive. But change begins with the decision to live with integrity, no matter how small the situation. Remember, a better Nigeria starts with you. That's our program for today. Join us every Friday at 6:30 p.m. on NTA Network and NTA International. You can also watch previous editions on our YouTube page with our ID, ICPC Nigeria. See you again next week. It's bye for now. My name is Murna Barnabas Atiai.